Here we are in the graveyard across the street from the Village Craftsmen. We got Philip again, getting ready to tell us a story. And today we are going to talk about Edgar Howard. And here's his grave marker right there. And you ready to tell us something?
Well, I am. Edgar was a native islander, and he and his brother Walter Howard were excellent musicians. And they left North Carolina when they were just young men and went up and played vaudeville early in their early 1920s, I'd say. As you can see, Edgar was a banjo player. His brother was a guitarist and a vocalist, and they were part of a very popular band in the early 1920s called the Five Harmoniacs. You can actually look that up on the internet. You can find music and listen to some of their songs. They were very well known. They played in many of the vaudeville clubs in New York, and then later on down south and even as far as the Midwest. Edgar came back to Ocracoke in the early 1970s and entertained us often at gatherings at the church or community center with his banjo. His brother died in the 1960s, but Edgar lived, as you can see, until 1990. His epitaph on his stone says, "You ain't heard nothing yet." And this is a quotation from Al Jolson, who was considered the world's greatest entertainer in the early 1920s. And he was the star of the first motion picture that had sound, first talkie. In 1927, it was called The Jazz Singer. And in that movie, one of his, it was actually an unscripted line that they left in the movie. He had turned to the orchestra and he said, wait a minute. He said, "You ain't heard nothing yet." And it became a famous line. Edgar played on the same stage with Al Jolson a number of times, and he decided he wanted that put on his tombstone. So this is the tombstone of Edgar Howard, one of our famous islanders who really made good in New York City and far beyond that as a banjo player and musician. Thank you.